When 70-year-old Edith witnesses a young girl stealing tomatoes from her community garden, she makes a decision that will change 3 lives forever. The morning sun filtered through the apartment windows as 72-year-old Edith Water smoothed her floral dress and prepared her thermos of tea. 5 years since Henry passed, the routine remained unchanged: walk to the community garden, tend her plot, and sit alone on the chipped green bench. Her knees protested as she descended the stairs of her aging building, the elevator perpetually out of order. The garden gate squeaked open, revealing rows of vibrant vegetables and the familiar ache of loneliness. Edith's plot thrived: plump tomatoes, crisp lettuce, fragrant basil, but the harvest brought little joy. She'd started gardening to fill empty hours, never imagining how empty those hours could feel even surrounded by life. As she snipped dead leaves, movement caught her eye. A small figure darted between plots near the compost bins. Edith squinted. A child, no older than 8, wearing a faded unicorn t-shirt. The girl glanced around furtively before reaching for a ripe tomato. Edith's breath caught. She should call out, but something in the child's hunched shoulders stopped her. The tomato disappeared into a patched backpack. Edith's hand flew to her chest as memories surfaced: Henry's stories of stealing apples during the Depression. She pretended not to notice as the girl vanished through the gate. That evening, Edith left 2 perfect tomatoes and a zucchini on the bench with a note: take what you need. The garden provides. The next morning, Edith arrived earlier than usual, her thermos clutched tight. The vegetables from yesterday's bench were gone, the note now wrinkled and smudged. She busied herself with watering, glancing at the gate every few minutes. Just as she began pruning her roses, a stifled sob broke the silence. Behind the toolshed sat the same girl from yesterday, knees pulled to her chest, face buried in her hands. Edith hesitated. Mother always said not to meddle, but the sound tore at her heart. Child, she called softly. The girl startled, scrambling back like a cornered animal. Edith noticed the grass-stained knees, the 2 large shoes, the fear in those wide eyes. I am not stealing, the girl blurted. It is just Mama sick in the store. As so far her voice cracked. Edith's hands trembled as she remembered Henry's first cancer scare. Come, she said, patting the bench. The girl hesitated, then shuffled over. What is your name, dear? Maya, came the whisper. Edith opened her thermos and poured sweet tea into the extra cup she depacked. Maya's fingers shook as she drank. We've got plenty to share, Edith said firmly. Tomorrow, bring your mother. We'll make a proper harvest basket. The girl's hopeful smile lit the garden brighter than the morning sun. Maya returned the next day with a woman whose exhaustion clung to her like a shadow. Clara, Maya's mother, stood stiffly by the gate, arms crossed. Edith recognized that pride she'd worn it herself after Henry's funeral. We don't need charity, Clara said, voice tight. Edith nodded. Good thing this isn't charity. These aphids are eating my kale. Could use an extra pair of hands. She thrust a trowel toward Clara. Maya giggled at her mother's stunned expression. Slowly the tension eased as dirt caked under fingernails and sweat dampened brows. Clara's hands, Edith noticed, were worker's hands, strong yet gentle. By noon, they defilled 2 baskets. Take the corner plot, Edith said casually. Nobody tends it anymore. Clara's eyes welled. We can tea it's not free, Edith interrupted. You'll help me lug these watering cans. These old bones aren't what they used to be. As weeks passed, the garden transformed. Clara brought seedlings from her Puerto Rican childhood: edgy dulce peppers, Rico herbs. Edith taught Maya to knead dough for the tomato pies Henry had loved. Laughter replaced silence, and the empty bench found new purpose. One rainy afternoon, while sorting through old photos in her apartment, Edith froze. There, in a faded Polaroid from 1968, stood her brother Carlos, Clara's spitting image. Her hand shook as memories surfaced: the family rift when Carlos married beneath them, the decades of silence after he moved to Puerto Rico. That evening, Edith invited Clara and Maya for pie. As Clara admired the photo wall, she paused at a graduation picture. Cabulo Carlos, she whispered. Tears spilled down Edith's cheeks as the truth unfolded. Clara was her great niece, Maya her great niece. The garden fell silent save for the patter of rain. He never told me about you, Clara said softly. After Abula died, he said we had no family left. Edith's heart broke for all the lost years. She reached for Clara's hand. We do now. The next morning, Edith brought Carlos's favorite machete to the garden. As Clara tended the peppers her grandfather had loved, Edith whispered stories of his laugh, his temper, his secret recipe for sofrito. Maya listened wide-eyed, roots digging deep into family soil. The garden buzzed with activity on Harvest Festival Day. Edith watched Maya present their produce at the communal table. The girl's voice steady now, her unicorn shirt replaced by a crisp garden apron. Clara helped neighbors pot seedlings, her laughter ringing across the plots. Edith's knee still ached, but the pain felt different now, not an ending, but proof she'd lived. When the mayor awarded them Best Community Garden, Edith stepped back, urging Clara and Maya forward. Afterward, as twilight painted the sky, the 3 generations sat on the refurbished bench now painted bright yellow. Abuleta, Maya said, testing the new word. Will you teach me your pie recipe? Edith's heart swelled. Only if you teach me Spanish. Clara squeezed Edith's hand. The gesture saying what words old and tea. The garden gate creaked open to familiar faces, neighbors bearing dishes, children clutching sunflowers, where once there'd been stolen tomatoes and lonely hours. Now bloomed a feast of belonging. Edith looked at her family, at the thriving garden, and whispered Henriette's favorite saying: to plant a seed is to believe in tomorrow. The empty bench would never be lonely again.